Hello, everybody. This is a podcast about our company, Exist Media. We are a Minnesota-based video production company. We make videos for everyone as long as they are ethical and they're willing to pay us. We are a team of 3 full-time videographers, small business operators, and friends who drink too much coffee and not enough water. Today, I'm joined by my fellow Exist Media personnel, Grace Kelly Stewart and Nat Split Die or Die Coop. Or sometimes referred to as Natalie Cooper. Depends on the day. So this is a podcast kind of like type thing, more of a conversation. And it's just us 3 talking about what it's been like to be full-time videographers, filmmakers, creators for a year now. So we've been doing this full-time together. And I thought it'd be fun to come together and record this and ask some questions to get sort of a good reflection time sort of on your experience, and we can talk through it. So you guys have not been prepped on the questions. I know the questions, which is great, but I thought we could start with a little rapid fire icebreaker to get started. So I'm going to ask a couple questions, and you have to say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? All right. So your favorite part about airplanes. Nat, go.
The wings that you get.
Oh, you mean the wings that the pilots hand out to you?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Not a real thing. Favorite color, gummy bear. Grace, go.
Green.
That was good. That's a good... Wait, did the actual gummy bears have different flavors?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't believe you
Favorite
asked.
animal that lives in the Savari. I'll start. Giraffe. Nat.
Hyena. That's not true. I hate hyenas.
Yeah.
They're pretty
Milo
gross.
just looks like a hyena. So.
Like from Lion King. They're pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Favorite animal that lives in the safari.
Elephants.
Good. Is there any other ones besides giraffes and elephants?
Lions.
Tigers and bears on my. Best candle smell you can get around the holidays. Anybody can answer.
Apple cider.
Pine tree.
I like the sugar cookie ones. Those are good.
Oh.
Finally, when is the last time you've let your phone run out of battery?
Yesterday.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All the way to 0?
Yeah.
Like dead?
That happens to me like every day.
Wow. I think it's been probably 2 months for me.
Yeah, same.
Really?
Something like that.
I thought that would be an interesting question.
My phone's all sorts of busted though. So
True.
I don't know.
So,
The battery isn't long.
all right, we can dive into the real questions. I just thought it'd be fun to get you started. All right. So, yeah, like I said, this is going to be more of a conversation just based on our year. This is kind of our first episode of our podcast, Exist Media Podcast. If we are going to be consistent about it, I don't know. We have no plan, no posting plan. We're just going to record when things seem relevant. So,
We said that last time.
yes. So I have 10 questions, and we're going to try to get through them as quickly as we can. I didn't prep a ton for my answers for them, so I'll try to be as raw as possible as well. So the first question is, what sentence or phrase sums up your year? And I think I had an answer for this one just because, like I said, full disclosure, I had an answer for the first one just to get it started.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So yeah, phrase or sentence that sums up your year. And I think for me, it's kind of a phrase that people know, but it's you don't know what you know until you know type thing. And I think that was super my year, just like running into this, having no clue. Like I've only done videography as like a part-time thing for like 2 years. So trying to jump into this post-graduation full-time was like, really have no idea how it's going to go, and kind of figured out things as we went this year, I feel like. So
My answer would be, I'm trying to think of like how to say it because I know what I want to say. Something to the extent of, you have a lot more ideas than you think that you have. Because my fear about doing this full time is that I would run out of creative ideas really fast. I was like, I only have like 7 good ideas and I'm going to use them all in a year, and then I won't have anything new to offer. And it's weird how like you can train your creative muscle.
all right.
Wait, before I move on, I came up with my phrase.
Okay.
It's okay. Mine is, you can have your cake and eat it too, because I had a like job before I came here, right? And I did not love that job at all. And I thought that I couldn't have fun at my job and also like enjoy the work and also like love everything about it. But I do here, and I love I can have my cake of wanting to be a photographer and videographer and eat it by working and doing it with my friends.
That's
and
cool.
loving it.
That's not usually what people say. People usually say you can't have your cake and eat it too.
And I say, let them eat cake.
I say cake.
Wow.
All right. Question 3.
Wait, did they say you can't have your cake and eat it too?
Correct.
They do.
You cannot.
Oh, so
have
that's
both.
wrong.
No, it's
You've made your
fine
own
if you
phrase.
say it.
I can't put that in. That's going to make me look like an idiot.
No, it's
No.
not.
Yes,
It's not.
it is.
No,
That's
it's
good.
not. Because
You
you rework the phrase because a lot of people would think that you can't have a job and also have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm a visionary.
A legend.
Great. So what sticks out to you about the past year? This can be an event, a memory, anything that changed, anything really. So what sticks out to you the most about the past year?
I can go. I have an answer.
Okay.
For me, it's the quality of our equipment because I had a Canon T3i when I first started photography, and then now to upgrade to having, have the Canon R6s for work, but then also to have one for myself, and like the quality is insane. And that, I mean, your equipment doesn't define you and how good you are as like a filmmaker or a photographer, but it definitely helps. And like a lot of like, even like the Ronin stabilizers, like that makes the world of a difference when you're editing and stuff. So the amount of equipment and like the quality of the equipment was like, it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's like really fun to use, and like you feel very like, I don't know, good. Feel good using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, me. I think the thing that sticks out to me the most. Probably. Honestly, I think it's like that people value the same things as me. Like it's been really cool this year to have creative friends and to do creative things together because I never really had that, and I didn't know if I just thought creatively and that was different or if there was people that were going to value all the same things I did. So that's been cool to share that with friends all the time.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, collaboration's key. Because I also didn't have a lot of collaboration before kind of coming into this with a team and a mindset. So it's interesting because like even small things can ignite bigger ideas when you can collaborate. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we forced having all of each other on projects if we could, even if like necessarily the project didn't like have the budget for it, we would still like, we would take the bullet of not having be paid in a particular like project just to gain that experience and like gain that collaboration. So yeah, definitely a priority. And I also liked what you said about the equipment stuff because that's super true. Like it's not always about your equipment, but like it definitely allows you to do more stuff with
Definitely helps.
more things,
Really
more
does.
options. And I feel like we had like kind of the, because we're like new to this. I mean, we're like younger professionals that do this. So like we didn't have like all the time in the world or experience to like work with a lot of cameras in the past. So like at least for me, like I felt like I was always catching up with our equipment this last year. Like our equipment's capability was more than I knew how to use, which is like a really motivating thing. Like to be like, oh, I have access to stuff I still don't even like know fully how to use. So it was just motivating to like get to use it, you know, and it's exciting because it's like, this is more fun than you would think. But I think for me, the thing that sticks out the most is going to be an event. And I think like, as I look back at the year, look at the snap store or the stories like on Instagram or like any of the videos that we've edited, I think like the moment that we flew to Denver and did projects in Denver for a week was probably like my highlight of the year. So that's like pretty baseline because I mean, it was so exciting. Like we had 4 projects in a different state over the course of like 6 days, and we had 2 weddings the night before. And I remember like us being at the office, offloading all the footage from 2 weddings, knowing full well we have to get up in 5 hours to go catch a flight to go do more projects. And like, I don't think I could do that forever, but I could do that with the energy I have now. And that felt like, oh, we're like doing this thing. Like we're no longer just saying we're doing this and we're actually doing it. Yeah. And that was a moment of like pure joy for me. And I was literally throwing up the next morning from exhaustion. And then I got sick on the trip.
Oh no.
Question 3, what significant life events or transitions did you go through this year? And this can be related to like maybe a job title or like something that you did responsibility wise, or it could be something major in your life that affected some of your workflow. Anything that happened in the last year that was like life changing or anything that just happened in life really. This is more of an open-ended
In
question.
the last year. Do you have an answer, Nat?
I mean, like, yeah, but I don't think it affected like my work.
Maybe it's a bad question.
I don't know.
Will
Do you have an answer?
Yeah,
Did
will
you
you
ask
say
it
it
because
again?
you have an answer?
What significant life events or transitions did you go through this year?
You're talking about the year within us being here and not like 2021 to 2022.
Yeah. And then if you want to speak on
May to
something
May
that happened
situation.
before you were here, like, okay, I'll answer for myself, and this is obviously your boat too, but graduated a year ago, and like graduating college, going into the real world, like, you know, there's this fear of like, what is it going to hold for you? And I felt like that was a major like kind of transition for me. It was like stepping into being like from a student into being a professional, or trying to be an amateur professional. And that gap was like seemingly very large. So that was like a massive transition for me this year. And I'm excited to just like keep growing that experience, I guess, and not have to like worry about that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I don't know. I feel like this could potentially be a bad answer because it's also skewing off of graduating. But transitioning from like video being my creative outlet and like a fun thing that I did to pass time to being something that I did every day and like was always thinking about was a weird transition because I didn't know if I would still love it or it would still be fun if I was doing it every day. It is still fun and I still love it. But that was like an interesting transition for me.
That's a good answer.
I don't know. My my cake answer kind of answers this one. Because, like, I didn't think I would be being a professional. Like, I didn't think that I would be working full time as a photographer, videographer. So that's pretty.
Yeah, you should talk about your work transition.
I mean,
literally quitting, like, because when you started here, it was, oh, Nat, you should start full time in August, and it was like
that was back
early May, and I was like, hey, so do you want to consider like quitting your other job earlier than we said?
Yeah, I did. We talked about I was part time for like 6 months, and then Cody's like, quit earlier and come here sooner, and I was like, but my job, and then I was like, got fed up, and I was like, okay, I'm leaving, and I put in my 2 weeks.
As soon as that opportunity is like there, it's just easy. Yeah. What was that like for you?
I thought it was gonna be worse. I was like so nervous about it, but I was like, this is gonna be way more fun, and my other job was not fun. So it was just work. It wasn't like I didn't try to challenge myself at the other job. Whereas here, I feel like I'm constantly trying to challenge myself and like better myself as a creator. And
it's important to establish, like, we were friends before this started, and Grace, you and I were friends like to a good degree before this started, and you guys didn't know each other really at all before this started.
Classic coworkers to lovers trope.
Great.
Just for the pod.
So yeah, the next question is, what about this year was surprising to you, or what about this year was something that you maybe did not expect going into it? And by this year, I mean like your year of doing filmmaking, your year of this career.
For me, it was I didn't know how the off season was gonna look, and I like didn't know if
by off season. Disclosure, we do weddings.
Yeah, we do a lot of weddings. So from May to October, we're busy. And then from October to May, we're not as busy with, I mean, we don't really have any weddings. We had like 2 over the last whatever months.
Yep.
Anyway, I like was kind of, I just didn't know how that was going to look. I was like, are we going to still like get work in? Are we still going to do stuff? And like, you know, when weddings are right now like a big source of our income, I was like, how are we gonna like continue to bring projects in? And you know, our wedding portfolio is bigger than our commercial portfolio, but we were like the whole like winter, I was never like, we never ran out of stuff we had to do, which was great. Like we were always doing stuff, whether it was like internal restructuring or like still coming up with projects and reaching out to people, and we still were able to do a handful of projects, which was really fun. We traveled again, which was fun, and did projects out there. So there was never an end to stuff that we could do, or like if we didn't know if we like we're gonna run out of like if we were gonna have too much time on our hands, and we never did.
Yeah.
So
I always find things to fill into the gap, as like I feel like as any small business, like there's always things to be done behind the scenes of your main service that you do. There's always stuff to be done, and I feel like we're drowning in stuff to do. You know?
Well, I remember we'd always say, when we have time in the winter, we'll do this. And I was like, I have a hard time believing that we're going to have time. And we really didn't for a lot of stuff that we were like, oh, like when we are full of time, we'll do this. It's like,
and everything takes way longer
so
than you think
busy.
it's going to.
Yeah.
Like every project and every task. Yeah.
True.
What about this year surprised you?
Oh man, I wasn't thinking.
Your answer was good, Nat.
What surprised me? Did you go?
No.
Oh. You
I
go
can go.
first.
Yeah, what surprised me. I guess when I went into this a year ago, I didn't really like have a solid vision of like what 1 year from now would look like, right? So like when we got this office space and when I started doing this, like when I was here 40 hours a week, I was like, and more. I was like, I don't know like what a year from now is going to look like. And I think I'm really surprised to be where we are right now in terms of like what we're doing and like how we spend our time, kind of similar to you, like not really sure how we'd spend our time. I think like, yeah, the major shock for me, I think is like, I didn't really think we'd be this like developed in some of our like packaging process in terms of like things that we offer for people. And I think we've diversified it in a way that I really wanted to a year ago, but I wasn't sure like what that path looked like. So I think like, I guess what surprises me is that we've been able to, it's went well is what I'll say. It's gone well. Well enough. Yeah. Survivable. So.
Yeah. What's surprised me, and this might be like a weird and or different answer, but I always had the expectation that as soon as you got a job after college, you'd feel like a real adult. Like that was like your time to feel like a real adult. And it's weird that we have so many things around us that make us adults, but we still like have the mindset of like being kids and having fun is really fun, because it's like we have the capability to have the equipment and the things and the space to do really cool things, but we can also not be too serious all the time and have fun with it. And I thought we were just going to get super serious really quick. We didn't. So that's been surprising.
No
and fun.
Laughing at work. No smiling.
Yeah, we don't smile.
No conversations.
That's the first time I've interacted with you all week.
This is the first time I've talked to you in months.
Only when there's a mic.
All right. So what went as expected? So the opposite of how you answered. What is something that like you thought would happen and it happened? Or what was expected? Like, you get the question.
You get it.
You get it. I can go first on this one.
Yeah, you go.
I think what I expected to be true is how often I'd be at this office and working. I knew that I was gonna probably try to spend every waking minute as I could to be focused on this thing, and I think there's truth to that, right? So if you're like any small business owner and you're working on something, like you have to care about it enough to have it be a priority in your life. And like we have this thing where like we graduated school and transitioned into this, like we weren't in this industry for like 20 years and then decided to form a company. Like the formulation of the company happened before the experience happened, which is kind of funny. And I think like we'll see a lot of, people in the industry now kind of doing that same flow, like where they're not super established or don't have a massive portfolio and they're working on it. And so you just have to like grind through it. And I think I kind of expected like I would have to, put in the effort, and I'm still loving it, and I'm still putting in effort all the time and working a bunch. But I like knew, that I was going to be doing that. So,
yeah.
I
don't know why I immediately thought of this. But for anybody that doesn't know, when I was supposed to start working here, I was supposed to be a part-time person for the summer. And that was it. And I remember telling my friend Anna to not let me stay here because I knew like my expectation was that I was going to like it too much and then I was going to stay for too long. And then I never did part-time, was always full-time. And now I'm probably going to be here forever.
That's good.
I knew what to expect of myself and I tried to make it different. And, it doesn't always work that way.
That's good.
I
Not
don't
like
know.
anything as earth shaking as those two.
But about what I expected.
Yeah. Think about before the split dye, Nat. Like before you.
It's prehistoric.
Before you.
I
Had
don't know
two
who
hair
I was
colors.
back then. I don't know. Nothing about this I expected. I didn't think we'd do as well as we have. I didn't think like that. I mean, our office changes a lot, which I think is great. I love how that we can switch it up and like it still feels new every single time. So I think
Feels smaller, doesn't it? It feels tiny.
It has
it
shrunk
does
over
feel
time.
smaller.
After a
I
year
think-
here,
I guess that was my expectation, is that we'd grow out of this pretty quick. The office.
we have 800 square feet, and there's 3 of us here, and oftentimes 2 dogs. So
Soon to be 3.
soon to
be
be
three.
Grace is getting a dog.
And its name is.
Drops it on the air.
On the air.
Yeah, I guess I didn't expect any of this. I had no expectations going in, which
I love
sounds
that.
kind of busted.
No,
but
that's good.
I like everything that we've done has already exceeded my expectations. Like even on the, I don't know, like getting the amount of like wedding inquiries we have now, it's nearly one a day, which is insane. Even like commercial stuff too. Like we've done way more projects than I thought we would do. I thought we'd be like way more heavily focused on weddings until like a couple years from now. So
Yeah, when you're editing the website, you really like realize how many videos we've done when you're putting them all on there.
and so a lot of it has just like I had no expectations, so everything has like nothing has been the same, and I love that. So I love
So
how far
sick.
we've like gotten, and it shows.
What accomplishments are you proud of this year?
Oh.
Yes. Think about the things that you've done this year. What are you proud of? What accomplishment are you proud of? I'll go. I don't have one on the top of my head.
I have one.
Okay.
I have 2, 1.5.
Not allowed.
Well, my first one is my progression of video editing from the beginning of the summer to the end, because there's a pretty significant difference, and that's really fun to see. My first highlight reel, I put congrats to the couple at the end of the video, and I still cringe about it every day. So no, but I think the growth of like how I figured out how to video edit, and then for it to be like something I like I really love being in Premiere and like figuring out ways I can like creatively, make like, especially when it comes to wedding videos, you want them to be different. You don't want them to all be the same thing. So, because every couple is different.
That's true.
True.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you do want them all to be different, because then it gets boring, and you can challenge yourself, and then when couples have fun stuff too, that's like fun to add. But
It's fun to look back at some of your past videos and cringe. I think that's like,
it's
great.
good cringe.
if you have to ask yourself, am I growing in videography? It's look at your past videos, and if you cringe, then you're doing a good job.
No, it's
Yeah.
inspiration, because I'm like, God, now I know what not to do.
But it was good for you at that moment in time, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, I mean that's what I needed to do. It's like the natural like steps of progressing. But
But in that moment, like
So sick.
that was probably a hype video. Like you were probably stoked
yeah, I was
about
like,
it,
God,
right?
I'm so
Yeah.
good at this.
And there's something to be said about that too.
Yeah.
So
And then
Yeah.
my half, because
Yeah.
we can't have 2, but I have 1.5,
Right.
is the Saturday swim video when we
Mhm.
when we traveled to Oregon, and we did a About Us video for a sustainable swimwear company. She was a delight to work with. She was such a sweetheart, and like that video was so fun to edit, and it turned out like it was like my proudest video to date, just because it's, I don't know, it looked really good. The footage looked really good. The continuity of the story sounded really good. So
and the client response.
yes, and she like absolutely adored the video, which was very like, I printed out her email and it's on my wall because I thought it was really
Yeah.
cute.
And I look at it every night.
And
before
I
go
look
to
at
bed,
every.
which is good.
Yeah.
Good
That's
answer.
nice.
Good answer.
Nice.
You
I
have
also have 2 answers.
Let's go.
Is that
1.5.
bad?
1.5.
1.5. Okay. Well, my first one can be
Your
my half.
0.75.
Can be my half one. Is I used to, well, background on it. I used to not make videos or record videos and not put them together, or make them and delete them because they weren't the video I wanted them to be. And I knew what I was capable of, but I wasn't doing it, so I didn't want to see it anymore. And so this year it's been like cool to make the videos that I knew I could make, and be proud of those. But then also, I think one of the things I'm most proud of is like all the cool stories we got to hear this year and the cool people we got to meet, because that's why we love doing this, and that's why I wanted to do it, and why videos are important to me. And I'm really proud that we actually got to a spot where we're meeting all these people that we're really proud to know. So that was fun as well.
Yeah. Super good. It was funny. So last year we made like little goals, like pretty baseline goals about like what we wanted to accomplish by the end of now 2022. I was thinking if the goals were for 2023, but now they're for 2022. And they were like, have a project that has X budget. And it was have a certain amount of weddings on our calendar and make X in revenue. And so like we accomplished all those things sooner than what we had said we were going to. And so like for me, I'm such a goal oriented person that I have to like have my goals written down to like know if I like achieve them. And we did all of those at a sooner rate. So like for me, I think like outperforming things that like I projected us to do was an awesome accomplishment, and nobody will know about it except for me. So that's cool. And then now anybody who's listening to this.
Did you think you were reaching?
Yeah, in the moment, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
especially for budget. Because, like, I was like, no way we're going to get, like, a $5,000 budget to do a project or whatever. And now we have, like, 2 on the books. I mean, they're obviously, like, you know, the subject of what the project was is open-ended. But, like, and now we've sent project proposals for more. And that's, like, something that's just cool to know that that's, like, within a scope of ours so early is, like, really neat. But it also, like, says, you know, to, like, how dedicated we've been to like actually care about this and like try, like, and fail and try. And yeah, so that's a cool accomplishment. I'm excited about that. But I don't have 2 like you guys, so that's all I have. I'm proud of a lot of things, so it's hard to pick one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
okay, this one is a little bit.
Uh-oh.
This one's
He's crying.
this one requires a little bit of vulnerability.
Oh,
no.
We're not putting this on the website then.
No, I'm excited about this question.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
What was a mistake you made over the last year?
Oh, that's
not
so
bad.
easy.
Yeah, which one?
Dude, this
You
is
want
going to
1 or
require
7?
vulnerability out of me,
Oh.
and I have
Oh.
prepared my answer.
Oh, let's hear it.
Word
then.
to word.
Okay, you go.
Not word to word.
You go
A
first.
little bit word to word.
Go.
Okay. Last year, it's kind of funny because like everybody in this industry, I feel like or any business, any like professional business, you hide your mistakes, right? Like you want to like any fire that you can let like put out personally without anybody knowing is like super important, right? However, it's like I am a strong believer in the idea of like failing forward, right? We have to like mess something up in order to create a system around it to not mess it up again.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't like have that going into this year because it was our first full-time year. And this year I made such a dumb mistake of accidentally deleting footage that somebody needed. And that was not a fun experience on my end because it was like poor file management, as well as like the communication with the client afterwards was like pretty good. I felt like everything was understood, and we had like, now we have like a good, I feel like, procedure in place to like know what kind of happens with that. Like I had to refund them a little bit and like go through that process, but like, and luckily we were able to still deliver the main deliverable that was like assigned to that project. So I feel better about that, like that our main thing was delivered. But it still sucked to like not be able to provide everything like we had promised to provide. And so like owning up to that and like recognizing that that was like a mistake, and you have to be like super direct and honest. Like I screwed this up and like I have to learn from this. That was really hard for me, like to know that I've made a mistake to that level, and like had to own up to it and like had to learn from it. And so like I think that probably happens to so many people. Like I feel like in this industry that happens to like so many individuals, of files getting lost, corrupted, or whatever. Like that's just a part of the process, and that's just what happens. But that was something that was like pretty user error, and so that was a huge mistake. and something I will never, hopefully, will not do again. And now we have awesome systems in place to make sure that footage is always there, everywhere, and doubled and tripled. But and we've all agreed to like on how we're going to do it. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, failing forward is true. And I made a mistake this year, like a pretty big mistake, and that sucked. But I don't think I'll make that same mistake. So
yeah.
Do you have yours?
I just feel like I have so many little things. I feel like every shoot I would mess something up.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you're perfect, Grace. You don't make mistakes. Only Nat and I make mistakes in this office.
I don't know.
Incarnate.
Like, but it is kind of sad if you're like, I deleted footage and I'm like, I shot in the wrong frame rate like every time for a while. I'm mostly like, the nice thing is with the mistakes that I had made, I was mostly disappointing myself all the time, which is like, I was just making my life harder constantly, like doing something wrong so I couldn't create the vision that I had in my head. But there was a mistake where I did also lose footage because I trusted somebody to record something and they did not. And that was on me. So that was unfortunate. But we still rectified it and got to give them when we were supposed to. So didn't make it any less sad.
Yeah.
But now I won't do that again.
Mine is we were on a shoot and I was second shooting for video or I was alternating, but I was on video in this portion and I was on the monopod and I was rocking the R6 and then a macro lens. So 100 millimeter I was fixing something on our talent and I bumped it with my big butt. I bumped it and the monopod, I had it resting, monopod fell and it dented. Luckily the glass didn't shatter on the lens, but it did like dent it, and that was just such a day ruiner because, you know, it's an expensive setup, and then for me to trust the monopod to have it just resting freestanding is a big ask, and especially when like you're moving around so much, it's just not worth it because I bumped it and it was devastating. But the lens is fine. But
yeah.
it sucked a lot, and it just made me be like, how could I be so stupid to just to trust something like that to hold it up, and then for me to like feel so clumsy and to just bump into it. But
well, now we never leave monopods.
Yeah, good thing that we don't have two monopods set up recording this because
and two tripods. You got a new tripod. No, and yeah, I mean it's gonna happen. Equipment's gonna break, and it sucks when it happens, and it happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a part of the process.
We know. Now I won't leave the monopod unattended.
I mean, I'm always going to leave the monopod unattended.
Yeah, can we get someone one of our cameramen? Can we get you to pan over to the two?
For real.
Great. So, what is a skill that you developed the most over the last year?
Easy. Sorry.
Good answer.
Color grading.
Oh, good.
That's my answer. It's kind of a lame answer, but if you don't know things about video, which I don't know how many people are going to watch this that don't know things about video, we shoot in a log setting, which makes everything really undersaturated because it makes it a little more cinematic. And you have to bring the color back. And it is not fun when you don't know how to do it.
True.
Because you can easily make it look really bad. And
we did.
And we did.
Oh, we have.
And yeah, it was cool to feel confident in that process, and I'm excited to learn it more. But that is my answer.
Color grading.
Color grading.
I used to be afraid of the Ronin.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I used to be afraid of the dark, so that's
I'm
my
still
skill.
afraid of the dark. No, I used to be afraid of the Ronin because I just never had used anything like it, and
it is scary.
When the thing goes crazy
terrifying.
When it goes like spinning.
Oh
in
yeah,
a circle,
that's a whole other can of worms. But just like using it and like
it's a robot.
it is a robot. It's an extra arm. but yeah, using that was really, I like genuinely didn't like it just because I didn't really understand it. But learning how to use that this summer, and then learning that if you do it correctly, your post-production is significantly less work. So I think learning the skill of like how to, during shoot days, to focus, like to really, to obviously trust the stabilization, but also think about how your shots are, and like learning the best way to be most efficient so you're not spending, putting warp stabilizer on every single clip because you don't know how it works. So now me and the Ronin are best friends.
Dude,
so.
I forgot that you were afraid of the Ronin.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That is good. So your skill was learning how to operate the Ronin?
Yeah, and being
cool.
like learning how to use it in the best way for
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, the day I got my Ronin, I cried because I was so frustrated and couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I had a few of those where I was just like, I was so flustered, and then when I like led my first wedding, I was like, oh no. But I think we were cool by then. So
yeah, fine. You were homies.
Yeah, we were
cool by
homies.
then.
Yeah.
I mean, not the 6
that was
weeks
like
up leading
July.
up to that.
So
yeah. We weren't cool before then. We actually didn't talk.
Yeah.
I don't know what my answer is in terms of skill. I mean, I had like a little bit of the skills in every, like a little tiny, I've developed everything I felt like pretty equally this year. Like I had a small amount of skills in like most categories coming into this, but I think like probably what stands above it is I didn't break a drone this year.
Nice.
whoop, whoop.
In 1 year. So that's good. And I also was flying way more than I used to. Like I was flying in, indoors a lot more than I have in the past, and flying into small spaces and having to turn off the sensors to like make routes and stuff, and that is cool. And I've had the DJIs for, I had like one of the drones for 3 years, and so like remember like when I had it for the first time, like being able to like let it track you and do all the things, like I was able to like be excited about it for 2 years before coming into here. So by the time that like I was kind of coming into this, like that sort of like awe factor was kind of like eliminated, and it was more like, okay, how do I like actually make this good? Like how do I like get the shots that I need every time? And now I feel like I can like buzz around on a wedding day and get everything I need for 5 minutes, and I'm money for the edit. So
yeah,
that's cool. That's fun. Comfortability, I think overall is the skill.
That's like the hardest thing to be comfortable in, is the drone.
For sure.
Like figuring out like you're not only operating a camera, but trying not to hit things and watching something like, and pressing a bunch of different buttons.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It's a playing video game,
Until
but
it's
so
not.
much worse.
And then it's fun.
I feel like there's still so much more to know too. Like I feel like there's obviously like in the world of like where drones are hype right now, like we don't have like those FPV drones. So we're primarily like just doing stuff that's like cinema stable. And I mean obviously like those drones are stable as heck too, but yeah. So it's a fun thing for sure. I think we'll continue to dip into it. What is something, 2 more questions and then we're done. We're done with the reflection time of 1 year. What is something you wish you knew at the beginning of last year?
Ooh.
I think like what I wish I knew was sort of what my role was going to be in terms of like what I was supposed to be here in terms of like leadership, and also like being, kind of like being in a small business, like we wear so many hats. And I think like I couldn't have prepared for that. Like that would have been impossible to prepare for, is like knowing exactly like what you need to be that day, and like also how to plan your week. I still don't. Like I'm like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, all right, so I know that I have to get through today, and like I have to like get my stuff done today. And that so I think like I wish I could have told myself a year ago, like it's going to be hard. You're going to have to do a lot of things that you don't want to do, but ultimately like you're going to be stoked that you did those things. So like be prepared to do a lot of stuff you don't want to do. So
True.
Understanding my role. Yeah.
I would say, hopefully this doesn't sound vague. It's probably going to be a lot harder than you would think to do the life you're choosing. But it's going to be way more valuable than anything else. Because I didn't expect like certain areas to be difficult. But I feel like that made us all way better. And so it's been cool to see it suck and have us come together on it and then have
Mhm.
it be awesome together outweighs that so much. So
Yeah, mine's a similar vein of just being patient, because in the past year we've changed a lot of things, and I think every change we've made has been good, even like at the beginning, if like, you know, I was skeptical or whatever. Just being patient with it and seeing how it unfolds, and also just being open to everything, because nothing has been set in stone. You know, we're moving around a lot, which is great. You know, it's better not to just set something and then be unwilling to change in the future. So I think it's a good thing. It does require a lot of patience. So I think that's something that I would have like reminded myself, because like obviously that'll happen with like a startup. You know, nothing's like solidified yet, but
Yeah, you have to act on urgency all the time.
Yeah.
And, like, the things that are urgent to you will change always.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like I have a plan for the week and we have a meeting scheduled, and then we're like, oh wait, this thing is like not important anymore. And like this other thing is like way more priority, and we need to like push that other thing for another month away. And that's like, well, I mentally prepared to do this meeting. So you're telling me I gotta move this now? Yes. And don't think about it for a month. Do other stuff. So that's, I can see where that comes in. This is the last question, and I'm excited for this one because it's a good question.
Okay.
What is something you hope for in the next season or year of pursuing this passion, or what is something you're excited about in the next year of pursuing filmmaking, photography, media, business, friendship?
Nice. I knew you had one more in you.
I have 1.5 again.
Okay.
Dang. All right.
Okay. My first one is I'm excited to develop my skills more, and also have every new project be my new favorite project. You know? So once we, you know,
Nice.
just because every time, you know, moving up to it and then being like, yes, I'm excited for this now. And then you know, then you put all your heart into it, and then you're like, hey, next one. And then you're still excited about that. That's what I'm excited for. And also I'm excited because we get to bring in an intern this summer.
Yeah.
And I am so excited to have somebody who
To boss around.
to just
Tell him what to do.
he'll know my coffee order like on the back of his hand. But no, I'm excited to have somebody new who isn't like one of us three, because I think he has done video in the past, so he knows what he's doing too. So it'll be fun to get another human, another like
Too many robots. Too many Ronins in this place. Nat needs another person to talk to.
The Ronins are taking over.
We have 4 Ronins and
You're
3
sitting so
people.
close to them right now.
No, I'm excited to have another like person's thoughts in here, and then also like show somebody else what we're doing here, because what we're doing is really cool, and I want to show everybody.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's mine.
Good answer.
I
gotta stop with that. Like, that's a Jeopardy thing. No, it's what is that from?
I don't know, but I'm gonna cut them all out. You said it after every single one.
Good answer. Yeah, just
Great
cut my
answer.
mic entirely.
Make it seem like
You
I
just hear
wasn't in the
my
video at all.
questions.
Yeah. It's just Grace and
Yeah.
I.
What am I excited for? I don't know. Lots of things. I feel like my answers are too vague sometimes. This is kind of a very specific and maybe sad thing to say. But I'm really excited. It was fun to see our progress from the beginning of this wedding season to the end of this wedding season. But I think this coming wedding season will be super cool to see, because we all know what we're doing now. And so you can get
It's gonna be
creative
gnarly.
in a new way, and that'll be fun. And we're not on a lot of weddings together,
Oh my god.
so it'll feel really new and unique to see all the weddings that you didn't get to go to, and
True.
like the cool videos that you
true.
guys make out of them. I'm excited for that.
I didn't even think. Sometimes I remember that we're not going to be on the same weddings together, and the same projects together in general. But this year will be the year for that, which will be wild.
Wild.
Yeah, we all got a part to play.
Grace is like, I have a really vague one.
Yeah.
I gave a very
I know
specific
my
answer.
vague
My answers
one.
are
My
like-
vague one, I gave up on.
Okay.
I keep answering vague, so I got specific.
I love it.
That is cool. I like that one too. I think I like to think I might have said that if you didn't say that. In terms of I went though of things I'm excited for this year.
I like to think.
I like to think I would. I think what I'm most excited about is developing more routine around my work and personal life. That's like not really company wide, but I think like that'll help me a lot in terms of like my process and like how I view the work and like, cause I'll have a pretty established routine probably pretty soon. I'd like to think this summer, and I'm excited to get back on that because we haven't like been out. I mean, like we've been in the office a lot, like re-editing or like doing our systems and all the other organizational stuff that has taken us literally 4 months to now put together. So I'm excited to shoot a ton of projects in a row, back to back, double headers.
I'm excited to shoot people.
Nice. I'm excited to be exhausted physically from work versus just mentally.
True.
Yeah.
Me too.
Can't wait for my shoulders to be sore from
My
holding
biceps from the Ronin.
Yeah.
from holding a Ronin all day.
Get jacked again.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
That was fun. I think you guys answered kind of differently than I would have thought. I think I would have expected Nat you to talk more about like the first week versus the now week, like of like, because I'm curious to know your guys' like perspective on like what Exist was like for you when you first started versus like what it is like now, because obviously the commitment it has in your life is way different. For me, I had the mentality that this was going to be my life ever since you guys started here. So I'm curious to know, last question, added question. What has been the like maybe the biggest difference from what you anticipated it to be? I guess that's kind of been already asked, but what is maybe something that's like, what's the major keynote, major takeaway?
I don't know. I still think this is just as exciting as it was when I first started. So it is the high hasn't come down yet, even though so much has changed. I think there's like the constant of like, I knew I'd be working a lot of like weekends and like my hours would not be normal like business 9 to 5s, which is like fine. So I think a lot has changed, but the excitement has not, and that drives a lot of like the determination and like fun and stuff that we offer.
Yeah.
So
that is wild. I don't know why this is the first thing I think of. But I knew Cody before this, obviously. I
did a wedding together in 2019.
That's not where we first met, but yeah. We did. I probably met Cody when I was in junior high or something like that. Nat, I did not know, but even with how much I like knew Cody, I knew it was gonna be fun to like work here for a summer and like mess around. I thought that'd be fun.
20-hour a week race.
Yeah. But then it like I didn't expect to like love you guys so much, which is kind of like sad to say. But now like you guys are the people I talk to every day and my best friends. And so it's wild to like, I was really vibing on staying here for 3 months, 20 hours a week. And now I spend so many hours a week with you guys. And when we're not together, we're probably calling each other. So.
True.
That's so true. Yeah, you guys are both on my favorites.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a wild turn of events.
That's great. It's very wholesome. Very true.
Did I mute my mic?
No, I can
you
hear
have been clicking
buttons.
Why did you not say anything?
Because it doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was awesome.
What's
that was
yours?
super fun. The thing that I think I kind of answered that already, because my mindset has been like, I guess like my transition from being like, oh, this is like a gig to this is a career, was really slow progression, and also something that I like buried mentality wise like for months. So to feel like I could finally be accepted to do this full time was cool. I still don't feel like I get full acceptance to do this full time. I still think like there's those in my community that are like still questioning whether it's good for me or not. And so I like that's my motivation to like continue to like prove people wrong and like that, you know, this is a very legitimate thing that we're doing, and like this is going to be worthwhile for us in the future, and like we love it. Like ultimately, I think what drives our ability to do this is our passion for it. And like we talk about this recently, like turning passion into purpose, and that's like kind of what I feel like we're doing. I feel like I have purpose here, and like that I feel like I'm fulfilled, and like at the end of the week I'm not mentally exhausted, like I'm filled up, and like that is super important for your career, your life. Life is short, enjoy it. And that's kind of what Exist is about, I feel like. And that's what it's meant to me, is like that we have a very, you know, finite time on this earth. And it's like, why? And obviously everyone's situation is different. Not everyone has an opportunity to do what they love for a living, and people are just stoked to have a career and money. And that's super important too. And we've like given up some of those things in order to do that here and to be here. So we understand the sacrifice that we're taking every day. We know that it's hard. And I love what you said. The lows are lower here and the highs are generally higher. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing to what you said, but essentially that's true. It's like you're going to experience everything very intensely. Like whether it sucks or whether it's great, you're going to feel it. So I didn't really expect that. Like I just knew that I didn't really want to like live a very like normal 9-to-5 post-college life. And like it took a while for me to like really be comfortable with that mindset of like, yeah, I'm gonna have to sacrifice a lot in order to get somewhere with this thing. And we're still on that path, and we'll always be on that path and always be on that journey. But like it's good to feel assured that like it's the right thing. So yeah, not really what you asked.
That's kind of what I asked.
No, that's good.
My answer to that. So
Wild.
any closing thoughts, team? Exist Media. Do you ever call yourself Exist Media?
No.
Always. Only exclusively.
Only to all my friends and my family and my followers. Yeah.
Fans.
Well, good. I felt like this fulfilled what I wanted it to. I wanted to know your guys' perspective on a year of filmmaking and what that's meant for you. Creating films for small businesses, weddings, and others. And yeah, I mean, it's been fun. This has been a great year. I'm excited for another year of this jazz, and maybe we'll do another year 2 recap of our year of filmmaking, but we'll see. So that, I think, wraps up our discussion. Super fun. Thank you for your time, guys. And
yeah, I have to get back to work. So.
Yeah. Don't have to travel very far. Well, great. We'll see if we do another one of these ever again. All right. Thanks.
Cheers to a year of jazz.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.